In the grand theater of history, empires were not always decided by kings in gilded palaces, but by admirals on the storm-tossed decks of their flagships. To rule the world, they first had to rule the waves. This is the story of the masters of the sea, the men whose command over wood, sail, and cannon shaped the destiny of nations. The 17th century, a new age of global commerce is dawning, and the oceans have become the ultimate arena of power. To nations, England and the Dutch Republic, both titans of trade and maritime innovation, find themselves locked in a fierce rivalry. Control of the sea lanes means control of wealth, and control of wealth means control of the world. It was a rivalry that could only be settled by fire and steel. As dawn breaks over the cold waters of the North Sea, a sight unseen in history unfolds. Hundreds of towering wooden warships, the largest fleets of sailing vessels ever assembled, unfurl their sails. Flags snap in the wind, cannons are loaded, and thousands of men prepare for a battle that will shake the very foundations of Europe. These are the Anglo-Dutch Wars, a conflict where naval supremacy was everything. On these decks stood men who commanded not armies, but oceans. For the Dutch, one name rose above all others: Michiel de Ruyter. A man of humble origins, he was calm, methodical, and a master of naval tactics. Aboard his legendary flagship, De Zeven Provinciën, he was the heart and soul of the Dutch fleet, respected by his men and feared by his enemies. He understood that a fleet was a single weapon, and he wielded it with unparalleled precision. Facing him were the English Admirals, a formidable force of aggressive commanders like George Monk and Prince Rupert. They believed in the raw power of the broadside, in breaking the enemy's will through relentless, head-on assaults. Their strategy was simple: sail straight into the heart of the enemy, and let the cannons decide the victor. It was a clash of philosophies, Dutch tactical flexibility versus English brute force. The battles that followed were staggering in their scale. The line of battle tactic, a revolutionary formation, turned naval combat into a deadly, organized dance. Ships sailed in single file, each one presenting its full battery of cannons to the enemy. A coordinated broadside was a terrifying spectacle, a simultaneous roar of hundreds of guns, unleashing a storm of iron that could shatter hulls, shred sails, and splinter masts. The sea itself would boil and churn under the sheer force of the cannonade. But it wasn't just about firepower. Strategy was paramount. Commanders relied on a complex system of signal flags to communicate orders across miles of smoke-filled chaos. A single, well-timed maneuver could change everything. The Dutch, under de Ruyter, often used their knowledge of the treacherous coastal shoals to their advantage, luring the heavier English ships into dangerous waters. And then there were the fire ships, vessels packed with combustibles, set ablaze, and sent drifting into the enemy's formation. They were terrifying, unpredictable weapons designed to sow panic and break the disciplined enemy lines. Watching a fire ship bear down on your vessel was one of the most harrowing experiences a sailor could face. It was organized chaos, a brutal chess match where the pieces were warships and the pawns were men's lives. Let's look at the 4 Days Battle of 1666, one of the longest and bloodiest naval engagements in history. For 4 consecutive days, the English and Dutch fleets hammered each other relentlessly. Ships were dismasted, captured, and sent to the bottom of the sea. The fighting was so intense that at times, ships became entangled, and the battle devolved into desperate hand-to-hand combat on deck, a chaotic swirl of swords, pistols, and axes. On board, life was a mixture of discipline and terror. An admiral like de Ruyter would be seen calmly studying his maps, his gaze fixed on the shifting winds and enemy movements, while all around him, the world exploded. He had to make life-or-death decisions in seconds, his mind a whirlwind of tactics, logistics, and risk assessment. He knew the strengths and weaknesses of every ship, every captain under his command. His orders, relayed by flags and messengers, could turn the tide of battle, save a crippled ship, or condemn hundreds of men to a watery grave. This era saw rapid advancements in naval technology. Ship designs evolved to carry more and heavier cannons. Naval artillery became more powerful and accurate. But the most crucial innovation was human, the discipline and training of the crews. A well-drilled crew could load and fire their cannons faster, repair damage more efficiently, and execute complex maneuvers with precision. Victory often belonged to the side that could maintain its composure and organization under the most intense fire. But the war wasn't only fought in grand fleet actions. In 1667, Michiel de Ruyter executed one of the most audacious naval raids in history. He sailed his fleet up the River Medway, deep into English territory, and attacked the Royal Navy at its home base in Chatham. He broke through the defensive chains, burned several of England's greatest warships, and towed away the flagship, the Royal Charles, as a trophy. It was a stunning humiliation for England and a testament to de Ruyter's genius for bold, unconventional warfare. The raid on the Medway forced England to the negotiating table and secured a favorable peace for the Dutch, proving that a single, decisive naval action could achieve what years of fighting at sea could not. The Anglo-Dutch Wars were more than just a series of battles. They were a crucible that forged the future of naval warfare. They established the line of battle as the dominant tactic for the next 150 years and created legends whose names would be whispered in awe by sailors for generations. These admirals weren't just commanders, they were pioneers who wrote the rule book for war at sea. Their leadership styles defined the outcomes. The English relied on courage and aggression, often winning through sheer tenacity. The Dutch, under de Ruyter's guidance, relied on brilliant strategy, discipline, and exploiting every possible advantage. The clash of these two naval powers reshaped trade routes, shifted political alliances, and redefined national pride. To be a citizen of the nation that ruled the seas was to be a citizen of the world's leading power. As the smoke clears and the cannons fall silent, a victorious fleet stands silhouetted against the horizon. The defeated ships are burning wrecks or are fading into the distance, their flags struck in surrender. The message is clear and timeless. The sea does not grant its mastery lightly. It must be earned through courage, innovation, and leadership. For in this age of sail, the men who mastered the oceans truly mastered the world. Thank you for watching. If you found this journey into naval history fascinating, please like this video, subscribe to our channel, and hit the notification bell for more stories of the people and events that shaped our world. See you next time.